Last cycle, NFTs were huge. They were some of the best performing assets in all of crypto. You had collections like Bored Ape Yacht Club that were launching at around $200 per NFT, that later some of those same NFTs were selling for over $3.4 million. Or as another example, take CryptoPunks, which when they launched were literally free to mint and later sold for tens of millions of dollars. And these two collections were far from the only successful NFT launches. There were hundreds and hundreds of different collections selling for insane amounts of money. Since then, however, most NFTs have fallen over 90% in value. And this has a lot of people declaring that NFTs are dead. And the question that I think is really important to ask at this point is, will NFTs make a comeback this cycle? And if so, what collections are trading for pennies today that could potentially be worth a fortune in the future? Remember, there have been literally countless times that people have declared that Bitcoin's dead, it's over and it's never coming back. Or they've said Ethereum's dead and it's over and it's never coming back. Or they've said crypto as an industry is dead and over and it's never coming back. Only for all of those things to make a staggering comeback and go reach new all-time highs. The best opportunities are always the ones that people discount and aren't paying attention to. And I believe I found an opportunity within the NFT space with a new up-and-coming NFT project that could be this cycle's Bored Ape Yacht Club. Sort of. It's not like the same thing as Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I mean like that by, it could be like this cycle's really big NFT collection or one of this cycle's really big NFT collections. And I believe so deeply in this project that I've invested almost 6 figures of my own money into this collection already. Without really knowing context, that might sound insane and just ridiculous, but let me lay out my case for why I believe right now this is one of the best opportunities in the market today. The NFT collection I'm talking about is called Persona, and it's a lot more than just an NFT. This play involves a token called Una, a bunch of ex-Ubisoft developers, a crypto gaming company called Unagi, and a playbook that's similar to what we've seen play out with projects like Mad Lads or Pudgy Penguins. And listen, this isn't super easy to understand, and it does take a little bit of explaining for me to give the full picture of why I'm so bullish on this. I promise it's worth your time. I'll make the case and then you make up your mind on what you think about it. Persona today is sitting just under $10 million in market cap. And it's an NFT collection from a crypto gaming studio called Unagi. Unagi was founded by ex-Ubisoft developers who worked on games like The Division, Far Cry 3, and a ton of other games that you've probably heard of. The problem we've seen with a lot of these crypto games in the past is they're not actually fun to play. That's because the majority of those past crypto games were built by crypto developers who had no experience in the gaming space. Unagi, however, is a genuine AAA team that puts game development first and simply uses pieces of crypto tech to add a unique spin or unique element into the game. In the case of crypto gaming, the unique element is just digital ownership. And I'm not going to go too in depth on this because I've made a ton of videos on crypto gaming before. But basically the idea is that players own their game assets, not the games. This allows value to accrue around the game assets and opens the door to unique gaming incentives. Unagi as a crypto gaming studio isn't actually new. It's been in the crypto space for the past 2 years and already has 2 successful and profitable games. And to give you some scale on how successful these games are already, they've had combined over 500,000 signups and they average around 30 to 40,000 monthly active users. The problem Unagi has been running into is, despite having real users, revenue, and adoption, nobody in crypto seems to know about them or care. And that's because the people who are actually playing these games aren't crypto investors. They're just normal gamers who are having fun playing these games. Most of them literally have zero experience within the crypto space and don't even know how to use crypto. So Unagi decided to try to fix this problem by launching the Persona NFT collection, and with the idea being that it would be their flagship brand and act as a bridge between the crypto space and their wider gaming audience. And they're not stopping at just 2 games. They have plans to build all kinds of other games. They want to build shooters, they want to build fantasy games, they want to build a variety of different games and become like a full-fledged, well-rounded out gaming studio. And this is where things get super interesting. Unagi is planning to launch their own token called the Una token. And holders of Persona NFTs can stake their NFTs to earn airdropped Una tokens, totaling around 14% of the supply. And you can imagine with a token like this, you're going to have the vast majority of the Una tokens locked up for various purposes. Some of it's going to be long-term growth, some of it's going to be marketing, some of it's going to be community incentives, early investors, etc. So 14% is going to represent a massive amount of the circulating supply when it gets airdropped to Persona stakers. Meaning if UNA reaches like even a decent market cap, it doesn't have to be that insane, just like a decent sized market cap, the value you could potentially get by staking the Persona NFT could be insane. It could be massive. And to give you some context, I've earned over $100,000 from airdrops between 2023 and 2024. So at this point, I'm really familiar with how they pan out, how they end up working out, and the typical amounts that get airdropped to users. And in my opinion, and again, I don't actually know this, but this is an educated guess based on experience, the amount airdropped to Persona stakers could end up being worth more money than the actual cost to buy the NFT today. In fact, I actually think it could be worth substantially more depending on how bullish you are on crypto gaming as a whole. I'm personally like insanely bullish on crypto gaming this cycle. I've done podcasts with Robbie, the co-founder of Immutable. I've done podcasts with the co-founder of Alluvium. I've done podcasts with the team at Shrapnel, and I've spent hundreds of hours doing research into the crypto gaming space. And my personal takeaway is I think this cycle, crypto gaming is primed for a massive run-up. It's primed to absolutely explode this cycle because of all the money that's been spent over the past couple of years developing and building out these games, and all the quality teams that have come into the crypto gaming space building actual games that people are going to want to play rather than kind of the vaporware we saw during last cycle. And you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of crypto games deploying this cycle. It's the law of large numbers. You only gotta have one hit. I think it's going to be way bigger than most people anticipate. Now, there's actually a lot more to the picture that makes Persona as a play just truly ridiculously insane, in my opinion. But really quick, the Obsidian Council is my private research community where I share monthly research, my entire portfolio updated monthly with the exact allocation I bought, my personal risk level, buy and sell alerts when I jump into projects, and a ton more. We've had projects like Pindle, which is up over 1,500%, projects like Index, which is up over 200%, projects like Solana, which is up over 779%, projects like Rune, which is up over 220%, Akash, which is up over 1,700%, Across, which is up over 141%, and a ton more. We also have the Airdrop guide, which some members have made $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, or $26,000 or more last year from airdrops alone, covering their membership for literally decades. I personally made well over $100,000 between this year and last, and I share everything I'm personally doing with airdrops with the community via the monthly Airdrop guide. On top of all that, I recently made the Ghost Tiger strategy available to all OC members for free. So this is my bot strategy I've been testing for 22 months that's averaged around 6% monthly returns. It's just a different strategy and a different way to play the market if that's something that's interesting to you. The OC is currently closed to new members. However, if you missed out and want to be able to jump in next time I open it back up, there's a waitlist in the description of this video. Make sure to sign up. Okay, so to recap, Persona is an NFT collection from Unagi, a crypto gaming studio with two extremely successful games founded by ex-Ubisoft developers. You're going to be able to stake your Persona NFT to earn an airdropped allocation over time of the UNA token, totaling around 14% of the supply, which is actually a pretty massive chunk of the supply considering a lot of the supply will likely get locked for a ton of development purposes. I personally believe that the amount of UNA tokens you can get staking the Persona NFT is going to be worth at least as much, but potentially a lot more than the actual cost of buying the NFT today. Again, I don't know that for sure, but that's just based off my experience airdrop farming. And UNA, just as a token, is an exciting token to me that I want to own because I think crypto gaming is going to be massive this cycle, and I think this is a really good project to own. Now, diving a little bit more into Persona just purely as an NFT collection. The art style, the community building, and all the way that like they gamify the experience is already leagues above anything I've ever seen within the NFT space. And Persona actually has a lot more ways it plugs into the wider Unagi ecosystem than just the airdrop tokens. There's actually a lot more to it than just that, including, in my opinion, the potential for like a full IP based around Persona, a game, and a ton more. And I think all of those things are going to matter long-term for the Persona NFT, but I actually think there's a lot of short-term catalysts ahead of that. They're going to push up the price of Persona, in my opinion. First off, think about the fact that to get that 14% supply of UNA tokens, you have to be somebody who holds and is staking one of the NFTs. And there's an extremely limited amount of the NFTs. There's only 8,875 or something like that of the Persona NFTs. But if you look at the amount of people that typically go after farming a lot of these airdrops, it's much more than that. And typically with most airdrops, you have a lot of Sybil farming. That's where people use a lot of fake wallet addresses to over farm an airdrop and get an outsized amount of tokens for themselves, kind of robbing the token supply from real users who are trying to farm that airdrop. Well, obviously with the UNA token, you can't have that. Like you have to own one of the NFTs to get a slice of that 14% of supply. Nobody's going to be able to Sybil attack this airdrop, and the only way to have multiple wallet addresses farming this airdrop is to have multiple NFTs. Basically, if you want the airdrop, you have to get the NFT. This is the part I'm trying to emphasize. Normally with an airdrop, it doesn't work like that. With this airdrop, it does work like that. So people excited about the UNA token have to get the NFT if they want the airdrop. There's a limited supply of the NFT, and even out of that 8,800 NFTs, on the market on Blur right now, if you wanted to go buy one, there's like over 400. It's like 460 NFTs you can actually buy, and within like a reasonable price range, it's much smaller than that. And I have to assume there's a lot more than 400 people out there that would love to farm this airdrop, would love to earn a slice of the UNA token before it launches. So my play is based on the fact that I think eventually we'll have a supply shock. I think eventually there'll be more people that want to farm the airdrop than there are actually NFTs, pushing up the price of the NFTs. Now, on a little bit of a different note, Persona as an NFT collection reminds me a lot of two other really big NFT collections, and that's Mad Lads and Pudgy Penguins for one particular reason. Both are collections that flip the traditional NFT model completely on its head. The traditional NFT model last cycle basically went like this. You'd launch an NFT with zero effort, like you just make some cool art, launch an NFT, and then try to, after, figure out a way to add utility to that NFT collection. Mad Lads and Pudgy Penguins, though, operated completely different. They're both examples of teams that focused first on building a real business, like a very fundamental, real, normal business, where the NFT was simply like brand IP for that business. Pudgy, of course, has like their plushies, their games, their toys, etc. And Mad Lads has the backpack wallet and the backpack exchange. Not surprisingly, both have been wildly successful NFT collections. Mad Lads during this cycle, okay, after all the other NFTs like fell 90%, etc., died, whatever, Mad Lads launched during this cycle and went from $700 to one point around $35,000 per NFT. Like the floor price for those NFTs was at the low $700, and then the cheapest you could buy it at the height was around $35,000. Pudgy Penguins went from a floor of around $1,000 this cycle, so like the cheapest you could get a Pudgy Penguin was around $1,000, to at its height this cycle a floor of around $60,000. So the cheapest you could get a Pudgy Penguin NFT was around $60,000 at its height this cycle. And again, just really want to emphasize, both these things happened during the same time period where everyone's declaring that NFTs are dead and over. At the same time, both these collections went to these like crazy heights and are still doing really well today. Which leads me to my next point. Not only do I think Persona is a great play based on the fundamentals, the gaming studio, Unagi, the UNA token, etc., but I also think it's a great play because it's really familiar and similar to these other projects that have done really well, that have flipped the traditional model on its head. In the same way, you have Unagi, a gaming studio that has real revenue, customers, etc., that is simply using the NFT collection Persona as a brand IP above their real business. I think for the market, it's a way of distinguishing maybe these really low effort NFT collections that really have no fundamental value behind them from these collections that maybe have some longevity because they're built on top of these real companies that are building real things. On top of all that, the entire idea that NFTs are dead and over, I think is just a ridiculous idea. In my opinion, NFTs aren't dead. It's just the garbage projects that were launched last cycle have died or are dying. And this really happens every single crypto cycle. In 2017, we got mass tokenization due to Ethereum becoming really popular as a smart contract platform. And during that time period, tons of different coins launched, tons of different projects launched on top of Ethereum. And really, their entire value prop was they had a really cool sci-fi sounding name, and they had a really interesting white paper where they said all the things they were going to do, but no fundamental actual progress toward accomplishing their goals. Fast forward a few years to the next cycle, you had Bitcoin skyrocketing and a lot of people declaring that Ethereum and all the altcoins were dead and they weren't going to have a comeback that cycle. Of course, we know the rest of the story. ETH did have a massive comeback, and an entire new batch of altcoins ended up skyrocketing as well. Only this time it was projects like Uniswap, Link, etc., all with functioning products that were actually being used for something. And these alts went much higher than the past batch did back in 2017. However, what we didn't see come back was that the past class of 2017, all those projects in 2017, those altcoins that had never built anything, they never made a comeback. They just kind of sat there either going sideways or they continued to decline. In my view, this is what we're going to see happen this cycle with NFTs. Most of the old projects will either die or go sideways. In this cycle, we're going to see a completely new batch of NFTs that provide some sort of innovation or some sort of fundamentals that weren't seen during last cycle that distinguish them and give them more more inherent value, similar to the trend we're already seeing with things like Pudgy Penguins, Mad Lads, and Persona. And to help make my point that NFTs are far from dead, just look back in March of this year, someone bought a CryptoPunk for over $16 million. $16 million. NFTs aren't dead. We're just entering a new paradigm within that space. Also, it's worth noting that NFTs typically pump later in the cycle. So typically the way it goes is Bitcoin goes up, people that miss out on Bitcoin are like, what can I invest into? So they invest into Ethereum and all the altcoins. Once those go up, like the good batch of like good projects go up, then typically people rotate into NFTs, they rotate into Ponzi's and all kinds of other stuff. Okay, so that's my case for Persona NFTs. Let's do some potential price predictions. Keep in mind, none of this is investment advice. You genuinely should do your own research if you want to succeed. It is literally the worst investing strategy on the planet to blindly copy YouTubers without knowing what you're doing. Do your own research because there is so much bad info out there. Don't blindly trust, but always verify. Okay, so my base case for Persona would be that we see it do around a 10x from here. They're running an absolute masterclass on how to build a community within the NFT space right now. They've built an entire platform for both NFT holders and non-NFT holders who want to farm the airdrop. You can do daily quests, see your score, earn various badges, follow other NFT holders, and so much more. The platform is so clean, it's nothing like most Web3 UI, and it's important to remember that these guys are game designers, not crypto developers, and it really shows with this platform because they've created a lot of gamification around Persona to incentivize people to build the community. And the way that the airdrop works and this platform works is it's built into two phases. Phase one, anyone can participate. They don't have to have an NFT. They're going to earn points and they're going to get the chance to potentially earn an airdrop. During this phase, having the NFT gives you substantially boosted points and it gives you other perks on the platform. And this airdrop allocation during phase one is different than the 14% that's reserved specifically only for those who stake the NFT. Phase two is when you're going to be able to stake your NFTs directly to earn those UNA tokens. And that phase isn't live yet. They're trying to build out the community, build out their reach, build out their kind of name brand before they launch the UNA token. These guys are really strategic. They're really smart. And they want to make sure that the UNA token has a ton of hype before they go into that phase two. A 10x from here would put them at around 100 million market cap, which during last cycle, like all quality projects pretty much reached at least 100 million market cap. So if we have any sort of NFT run up, it seems reasonable that this being a top quality collection would hit at least 100 million in market cap. That does not seem absurd at all. My bull case for Solana would be that we see it hit around $1 billion in market cap. Projects like CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Axie, Artblocks, NBA Top Shot, Azuki, Clonex, Moonbirds, and a ton more all hit above $1 billion in market cap. That would be 100x from today's prices. And my ultra bullish Hail Mary bull case for Persona would be that it hits around $4 billion in market cap, which would be around a 400x from today's prices. Bored Ape Yacht Club did this last cycle at its very peak, given it was the most popular NFT collection when it was at its very peak. That kind of came alongside them launching the Ape token, if I remember correctly. So there was a lot of hype. They helped push it there. But like I said before, typically the second cycle or the second rotation, because there's those fundamentals involved, these things do tend to watermark a little bit higher. So somebody hits a new all-time high. Typically with these things, I don't know for sure that'll happen this time. And I don't know for sure that Persona will be the most popular collection or even in the top 3 most popular collections. And that's why it's my ultra bullish case, is because that's kind of like if everything goes perfect. That's, again, a Hail Mary, like lightning strikes twice kind of, oh, wow, this is an amazing outcome. My more reasonable one would be my base case, and then my like slightly unreasonable one would be my bull case, and my very unreasonable one would be my ultra bullish case. It's a spectrum of like different outcomes that could happen. The bear case for Persona would be obviously that NFTs never pop off, crypto gaming never pops off. There's all kinds of things that could always go wrong investing in crypto. That's why I always say, do your own research, make sure you're not throwing your life savings into these things. And, just like with any investing decision, you never know the outcome. That's part of the game of investing. You don't know what's going to happen. So you always got to hedge your bets a little bit and do what's best for you as an individual, because only you know what your setup is. If you're interested, the best place to buy Persona is on Blur, or if you just simply want to try to farm phase 1 of the airdrop, you can go to Persona Journey. You can sign up. You don't need an NFT to farm phase 1, and you can just start earning points by doing the daily quests. And if you want to go deeper on Persona, I actually interviewed Spike, the founder of Persona, where you can learn everything from his viewpoint about the collection, like go into a lot more detail about Persona as an NFT collection. For me, it's the interview that got me ultra bullish on Persona. It's on my podcast, the Never Die podcast. podcast if you want to check it out. As a reminder, for anyone that wants to sign up for the OC, again, there's a link in the description of this video, only opening up to 100 members. You're going to have to do that today if you want to sign up. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe other collections or plays that you think are really underrated, let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.